Hey guys, welcome back to Baddie and a Book. My name is Gabby and today we have a book haul. The first book that I picked up for this haul is One Summer in Paris by Sarah Morgan. A little off season, but this was at the thrift store and it was super cheap and I thought that the premise was extremely interesting. This one follows two girls, one by the name of Grace, one by the name of Audrey. Grace, ends up deciding to plan a trip to Paris, a summer in Paris, and she decides to surprise her husband with this trip to Paris, and come to find out Uno reverse, and he decides to surprise her with divorce papers. So she ends up deciding to still go on the Paris trip by herself, go solo, and while she is there she meets Audrey. Audrey is another girl, similar situation. She is running away or getting away from a heartbreak of her own while she is in Paris, and they essentially grow their friendship. They meet, they grow, their bonds grow, they bond over their trauma, of course, they bond over healing, and it just follows their friendship after both of those two go through some sort of heartbreak. I usually don't go for friendship tropes. It's not really something that I really love reading about, but this one seemed very interesting. The second one that I picked up is called How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox. This one is her debut novel. It is a YA. I don't know why I keep doing this or how I keep doing this, but I keep picking up books that are surrounding grieving, which is something that does take place in this book. So it follows a lot of grief, loss, and love, and I thought that the cover was beautiful. I picked it up from Books A Million, which it's in the bargain section, so I tend to go a little bit crazy in the bargain section at Books A Million. Next two books that I picked up are, one of them is a BookTok favorite, the other one is just another novel by the same author, and that is All the Bright Places and Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. Both of these two books were thrifted. I've heard that All the Bright Places is a very sad book and that it also is a movie as well, so I decided to pick up this one when I saw the condition of it and the fact that it was so cheap at the thrift store, and then I picked up this one to pair with this one because I like getting multiples of the same author to form a full opinion on an author's writing. And it's also fun to pick up other books that haven't really been talked about on BookTok or BookTube, just to kind of give myself some different material to read, because we all love reading the same books, but I also like to read things that are new to me and new to you guys as well. So those are those two. The next author that I picked up is a fucking queen. I used to read her when I was in high school, and I still had her books up until like 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe not that long ago, maybe like 4 years ago, but I ended up leaving my box of books in my previous apartment, and it included all of the books that I owned from Jodi Picoult. The author is Miss Jodi Picoult, so I ended up picking up Sing You Home, A Spark of Light, and Salem Falls. One of the things that I really love about Jodi Picoult, not just because there's nostalgia for me and I have a sentimental connection to her, but also because all of her books have a different premise. They're so different. There's a lot of different premises, a lot of different tropes, a lot of different vibes. She is a contemporary writer, so an adult contemporary writer, so I really enjoyed her books back then, and I'm really excited to get back into it as an adult. This is the first series of this book haul, and not the last, but it is the first, and this is all to blame from BookTok, because BookTok, these books are everywhere. I have not heard a single bad thing about these books, and I think the most negative review that I've heard about this book is that it was good. It was really good and enjoyable, but it didn't like blow me away. It wasn't like a 5-star read for me, but it was still really, really enjoyable. And that is the Twisted series by Anna Huang. My crazy ass did go ahead and pick up all 4 of them. As soon as the 4th one dropped, I did go ahead and pick up all 4 of them. And they all are beautiful, beautiful covers. We've got Twisted Love. We've got Twisted Games. We've got Twisted Hate, and then lastly we've got Twisted Lies. I'm so sad about this one because I don't know if this came like this or if this is something that I did. I can't remember, but I could have sworn that the book came in perfect condition and didn't have like this like dirt on the front. But if you know, you know. All of these are romances. They're raved about, and I'm really, really excited to read all of these. The next book that I picked up is a random one, but I've been going to the dollar store, the Dollar Tree specifically, a lot, and I had no idea that they sold books. So when I found out, I've been picking up every time I go to the Dollar Tree or I'm near a Dollar Tree, I will go in and just check the book section to see what they have. And I picked up this book. It's called Purity by Jonathan Franzen. I have no idea what this book is about, but it is giving fantasy vibes, probably YA. Most of the time with Dollar Tree, they do have YA novels there. And this one is a thickie. This one is like a 600-page book, but I thought the cover was very intriguing. And for only $1.25, if I end up not liking it, I can donate it to a little library, which is my favorite thing about the Dollar Tree. I know that the Dollar Tree probably gets books that are overstocked, kind of like Book Outlet, or they get books that are not very popular and that are not selling, and so that's probably how they are able to get their books. That's the only thing that I can think of as far as why they're able to purchase books, especially when like books like this are like $28. But it's always fun to kind of browse through their section and kind of see what books they have. If you don't like them, you can donate them to a free little library and you're not really losing any money. The other thing too is I've even found some really good books in the Dollar Tree as well. So anyways, the next two books that I picked up are heavily talked about on BookTube and BookTok. I got another Colleen Hoover book. I got Hopeless this time, and this one is one that is kind of underrated. It's not one that's talked about a lot, but this one is also part of a series. So I thought I would go ahead and pick up that one to add to my Colleen Hoover collection. And then I also picked up Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. So many people love this book. It's got a new cover out now, so this is the original cover of it. Don't really care for the new one. I don't really like the new one that much more than the old one, so I'm perfectly okay with having this cover version of it. But this one is giving friends to strangers to lovers to second chance romance vibes. I've heard nothing but really good things about this book, so I'm really excited to try it. This is one of Larry Reed's favorites as well, so really excited about this one and to have this one on my shelf. The next book that I picked up is another Jennifer Niven book. This one is called Breathless, and I absolutely love the cover of this one. I picked this one up from Books A Million, so I did get it for a bargain price. This one follows a girl by the name of Claudine. She is currently facing her parents splitting, and then she meets her and her mother go away to this island right outside of Georgia, and she on this island meets a boy by the name of Jeremiah, who goes by Maya for short, and essentially they build a friendship. They end up having a friends with benefits type of thing. She kind of wants to experience that part of herself with somebody. She wants to get into sex and all of that, and she intends for it to keep it just on that, just friends with benefits, but ends up developing feelings. So I thought that would be an extremely interesting read, and it's another Jennifer Niven book, so maybe I'll do like a vlog with all three of them where I read all three of them. Another one that I haven't really heard about too much, I've seen it more so recently because of Book Outlet. I guess Book Outlet also has this book on their website, but other than that, I haven't really heard too much about this one. The next book that I picked up is from Walmart. This was one of their bargain books. It was one that was on sale, so as you can see, I only paid $6 for it. This one is called The Lost and Found Bookshop, and it's by Susan Wiggs. This one follows a girl by the name of Natalie. She inherits this bookstore that is owned by her grandfather, and her grandfather is also sick, so she becomes the caregiver for her grandfather. They live in San Francisco, so it takes place there, and essentially she is wanting to sell the bookstore so that she can continue to take care of her grandfather. It will help, of course, money-wise, and her grandfather is refusing to sell this bookshop because he is the sole owner of the bookshop. So it follows her on her journey. The one thing that I'm really loving about the vibe of this book is that she works at the bookstore to keep it running and everything for her grandfather, and so she finds comfort in comfort in those books throughout all the craziness that is going on. She also ends up meeting a friend, and so there's a little bit of friendship in here, and then there's also this friend that introduces her to a love interest, which we also get to see a little bit of that as well. So I thought that was very interesting. To read a book about a bookshop is the vibe. This seems like a cozy fall, I would say a cozy fall vibe book. Not necessarily in a spooky way, but in a like cozy, I want to wrap up in a blanket at night, light some candles, and sit down with a book. This would be one of those vibes. Now, a more fall season, fall vibe book that is on the spooky side is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is another BookTok, BookTube favorite, and I've actually heard one of my cousins, she's in high school right now, and they're actually reading this book in their school, so I'm really excited and happy that some teachers are taking BookTok books and having their kids read it. It'll make them more motivated to read because they see the books all over BookTok and BookTube maybe, but more so BookTok. But anyways, that's besides the point. There are 5 kids in detention. One of them dies and they are trying to figure out who did it. So as the reader, you're trying to unravel who did it, and one of them is lying. Yeah, next series that I ended up picking up in this was a thrifted series, so I was extremely happy to find it, and that is Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits. It's a duology, or this is the companion novel to Wicked Fox. This is by Kat Cho. This is a K-drama fantasy book. Love the covers. I was able to thrift them, so I got them for a really good deal, and I have been trying to get a little bit more into fantasy, so I've been collecting fantasies as I find them, especially if they're thrifted and super cheap, because I already know that eventually I will get off my romance kick and want to experience other books, so they'll be readily available for me when I am ready to do that. I've heard really, really good things about these two, and again, I got them in pristine, almost brand new condition. Next we have, this was merely a cover buy for me, another thrift find. It was in brand new condition at the bookstore, and it was merely a cover buy. Let me tell you something, when I go to Goodwill and they have books there, they're only $1 or $2 sometimes. I believe this one was in just the regular section. They have the regular section and then they have the Amazon bestsellers. Amazon bestsellers are more expensive than the regular hardback and regular paperback prices, but they're still no more than $5. I ended up picking up Tumbleweeds by Layla Meekum. Now this book, it follows, which I thought was so interesting, and I did not know at the time of picking up the book. Mind you, this was just a cover buy for me. So this one follows a young girl by the name of Kathy. It actually follows her from the time she is 11 years old. She's a young orphan, and it follows her from that time frame all the way up into her 40s is where the book follows, which I thought that time frame was extremely interesting. But her story starts off in California, and then she is relocated to Texas, where I believe she meets 2 boys that are also orphans. They become friends. It turns into a love triangle, and then we meet them again in their 40s towards the end of the book, I guess, to kind of see who she ends up picking, if she ends up picking either of them. But I thought, I was actually really glad that I just went with my gut instinct to pick up a cover buy, because this seems really interesting and the cover is beautiful. Like, look at that. Then lastly, another BookTube favorite, another raved about series that's all over BookTube, and my crazy ass went ahead and bought the whole series instead of just buying one at a time. You know, I don't do that here. So we have the Dirty Air series. I got all 4 books, and I love that each book is not only is it talked about so much, but also they give different vibes. So first we have Throttled, which this is giving brother's best friend forbidden romance. Then we have the second book, which is Collided. This one is giving friends to lovers, maybe just a little bit of forbidden romance where people aren't really down for them being together, but still friends to lovers. Then we have the third book, which is called Wrecked. This one is giving kind of workplace lovers, forced proximity type of vibe, so I love that. Then we have the last one, we have Redeemed, and this one is fake dating. The other thing that I really love about all 4 of these books is that they are dual POV, so you get to see both POVs in each book, which I have begun to realize, and I have begun to learn that with reading and getting into reading, that dual POV is one of my favorites. I love getting both perspectives, and I'm really excited to pick these up here probably in the near future. I may end up doing a vlog or something with all 4 of these books, but really happy about those. So yeah, those are all the books that I picked up, and I'm so excited because this was a really good haul. Like, I got a little bit of everything. We got some popular ones, we got some hardbacks, some paperbacks, we got some non so popular ones. I got some really good bargain ones with the dollar store, with getting that one for just $1.25. Like, period. But thank you guys again for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.